Hey guys, I just wanted to come in before the episode started. I know this is going to come out later because I wanted to post this on our actual anniversary date, but at the time that I'm recording this right now, we're coming off of Halloween weekend, and if you keep up with any type of world news, you would know a lot. A lot has happened this weekend. I'm just going to go ahead and add a trigger warning now to these traumatic events because it's been a lot. First, I just want to give my condolences and say my heart goes out to the people that lost their lives in Itaewon, for their families, their friends, for the people that are in hospitals currently still recovering, as well as the bridge that fell somewhere in India. Also losing about 150 people. And then even though I'm not a big fan of them, the member Takeoff from the Migos who lost his life in just the most senseless way that really did not need to happen, especially since he was kind of just bad timing, almost kind of like he was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. I don't want to get too much into everything just because I can't explain it well. Everything that's happened in the world, whether I am aware of it or not, I just want better for all of us, for the common folk. I've already expressed we're all going through a lot, but just seeing all those back to back in just a span of 4 days is very heartbreaking. It's triggering. I'm sorry. I wish I was better at this. I just don't know how to really express how I feel. And a lot of this that I saw could have been prevented. And I'm really hoping none of this gets swept under the rug or just we mourn and then we move on. Especially since I feel like 2020, we're getting too comfortable with tragic thing after tragic thing happening. And we're too focused of trying to keep going instead of maybe sometimes taking a pause, trying to analyze where the problems are, why things like this keep happening, and trying to fix them. But then again, that goes into a lot of stuff of money, greed, power, capitalism. Again, so many factors that I just can't even begin to try to explain, solve as just one person. But it does need to be talked about more, especially with the mental health of those that were affected by losing loved ones in Itaewon in India, and as well as just mental health is trying to get a better control of channeling our anger to where our first reaction isn't to kill someone. And I am mostly talking about men. I'm sorry, but this is something you see more in men. I wish people would take their mental health more seriously. And that also goes into talking about how we view masculinity, because there's no way Takeoff should have lost his life over a game that he wasn't even a part of. Because something like this happened. I think this was in Texas. I'm sorry if I got the state wrong, but there was just a girl who went to go play basketball with a guy, and he got upset that she beat him in the game, and he left, came back with the gun, and he killed her over a basketball game? How did it escalate that quickly over losing a basketball game? And it's not even they're playing for money. It's just a simple in the park basketball game that plenty of us do or have done. And it's just I want better for us. I really do. I really don't know at this point what's it gonna take for us to get better, if we're all just gonna... Let me not say this. This is supposed to be happy. I'm getting off topic. But anyway, my heart just goes out to everyone that was affected to any of the tragedies that happened over this past weekend. And I hope you guys can get the help and healing that you need. And just real quickly, I kind of want some type of law to be passed to where we can stop sharing violent videos and pictures of these tragedies. I sadly had to see some when everything was unfolding unfolding during the ET one, because like I happened to be online when it was beginning, like all the tragedies was starting, and having to see people get CPR done on them. I thankfully did not see any of the videos of takeoff when that happened. But this is kind of one of the things where I feel like the more we share these online, the more numb we're becoming to tragedies, and the more we're kind of not caring about human life. And that's kind of scaring me. That's really scaring me. I'm sorry if there's anything I missed that happened either this weekend or just in general. I think everyone forgets sometimes with social media just how big this world is. And we just can't always tap into everything that's happening, because it can take a toll on you. It really can. And even though we're small, I'm more than happy to share anything that I can. We always plug our socials, so like if something happened that you want more people to be aware of, again, I know we're small, but somehow people still see your tweets, so just don't be afraid to share it with us, and we'll make sure we share of either what's going on or like ways to help and things of that nature. But hopefully you enjoy our little 2-year anniversary special. Thank you for sticking around for this long. Or if you're new, thank you for giving us a chance.
Hi, and welcome back. What?
Sounds about right.
Okay. Hi, and welcome back to I Was Thinking. I am Nafis.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I found that so funny. Do you want me to cut that out? I'm crying.
We can start over if you want.
That was kind of funny, though. That's up to you. I kind of want to keep that in.
All right, we can keep it in.
Okay. Did you say your name?
I did.
Okay. I'm Simone, and I'm currently dying.
I'm Macy.
And welcome back to I Was Thinking! Yay!
We're a hot mess.
Exactly. And you want to know what's even better? This is our 2-year anniversary of being hot messes. Woo!
You'd think we'd get better at it a little bit eventually.
Why am I the only one that sounds excited?
I'm more in awe, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Of what? That we're still doing this?
Yeah.
I know. It really is shocking that we are still doing this.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering like how busy we've all been too, so.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get paid for this.
Exactly, yes.
But I've been enjoying it still. I know, like Nafis said, we don't do this consistently, but we still have listeners, so thank you guys for sticking with us, whether you've been here from the beginning, or you jump in, or you only listen to certain episodes. Thank you for giving us a chance.
Yes.
We really appreciate it, and that's why we still do it. I'll say our stats in a minute, but how is everyone else feeling? How are you feeling, Macy?
Fine. About the podcast or just in general?
Well, mainly the podcast, but I guess we can do both.
You know, I mean, it's still fun. So as long as it's fun, I'm sure we'll continue to do it.
Yeah.
That and still more to come. So, yes, it's just the three of us, the three main hosts. Brianna was going to be here since she was here for the first year, but she's having some she lost her voice, basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like, girl, you're a teacher, so I understand. Rest up. The show must go on.
Mm-hmm.
So any other thoughts about, the 2 years, what we've been doing? How you guys feeling before we move on, or no? I feel like I had more like plans to say at the beginning, but like everything's just been crazy this morning.
Spent like an hour on technical difficulties.
As
So
always,
I'm already tired and we haven't even started.
Yeah.
Did that like deplete your energy?
Yeah, I thought my computer was gonna die. It just shut down. Like, you know what? Audi, I'm done. You can live your life without me. I'm done.
Yeah, that's what we like to call the 11 o'clock curse, but more on that later.
Yeah.
Right? The heck, man. I'm in a different time zone. I feel like I shouldn't be affected by that.
It don't matter. The 11 o'clock curse will affect you.
Right.
And it's not even 11 o'clock yet.
That's by far the worst technical glitch I've had yet, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was insane. But still. Is anyone going to answer my question or no?
What was your question?
Oh my God.
How we feel about the podcast?
Yes, about doing it for, pretty much 2 years now. Any thoughts, critiques?
I think I said this last year too, but I really like that I get like vocal practice. Like it's fun. It's fun to talk about different things. So I enjoy it.
And I feel like we have more of a structure now since we're talking about things we're interested in, like K-pop and television shows. So with the TV shows, hopefully we do get to broaden it a little bit more with the movies, like of different like entertainment around the world, because I'm interested in watching other stuff. So yeah, I'm excited. And like I just said, I feel like since we have more structure now, it's a little bit more fun. It is a little bit more tiring, especially when I have to do research. Yeah. And then like my 2 weeks of research turns into like an hour. I was like, wow, I blew through that fast. But hey, I still enjoy it.
That's good.
What about you, Macy?
No, I agree with everything that you guys have said. I think I talk more here than I talk anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little bit more confident in expressing myself. I feel like it's helped a little bit. And like I said earlier, as long as it's fun, I think we'll continue to do it because that's our main purpose since we don't get paid for it or it's not like, something that we have to do. If it's fun, we'll continue to do so. So it is kind of surprising to me that we've made it this long, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah. When you first mentioned it to me, I'm like, I wasn't even sure I wanted to be involved. And then it was fun the first time. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Maybe once in a while. And now I'm just like always here.
Yeah.
It's kind of dramatic for me wanting to start YouTube, but I'm terrified of like getting on camera and then like all the cuts and then like I have to watch myself. It's one thing I have to hear myself, but if I had to watch myself, I'm like, scrap everything, forget it.
Yeah, I don't think that would have gone anywhere. So
no.
That's the other thing too. Like I've gotten used to hearing my voice and that like actually helped me a lot because when I record videos for my students, like it's so awkward just watching myself and hearing myself. But this like made it more like it's more natural now.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I kind of actually, especially since I took over editing, like I do notice, I think it's helping me become more comfortable with myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I still say little things here and there about my voice, but now when I hear my voice, I'm not as cringy as I used to be. So like it's helping me more comfortable in myself, who I am. I definitely can tell from listening to old episodes to now, I definitely have become more comfortable as far as talking, being more expressive. I do cuss more. I'm sorry, guys. Like sometimes if I get passionate, it just comes out. I was listening to, I'll talk about it later, but yeah, it's fine. It's not like we try to gear this towards kids anyway.
Right.
No.
So, yes. So I can go ahead and talk about the stats of our podcast. I feel like I stated this before, but we do use Anchor to like put this podcast out and it goes to other platforms. So like, some of it is accurate, some of it is not. I don't really know how stats work, but this is just what Anchor tells me. So I'm just going to go off of Anchor and what it says.
But Anchor is directly with Spotify though, right? So it's only...
It is now, yeah. So I think Spotify bought out Anchor, but like if I go on Spotify, that's not even where our biggest listeners are. So that's why I'm like some of the data is kind of skewed because I don't really know the real numbers because a lot of it is like from Spotify only. I'm like, well, Spotify is less than 10% of our actual listeners. So,
right.
So I'll go ahead and start like where people are listening. So Apple Podcasts is actually the biggest with 44%.
Oh, wow.
This is what I don't like about Anchor. It doesn't really break it down. So the next one, our highest, it just says web browser with 12%. I don't know what web browser is. I don't know what program it is.
Yeah.
It just says web browser. Next is Spotify with 8%. So that's what I mean. Like, I don't like, because there's a thing where it says like demographic on like gender and age, but I don't like using that because it comes from Spotify only. And as I just said, only 8% of our listeners come from Spotify. Google Podcasts is next with 7%. And then there's just an other with 29%.
Okay.
Our highest is Apple Podcasts and other. What is that other? I don't know.
That's pretty diverse, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, because I do know, I made sure to upload us on like Amazon Podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio now.
Really?
Yeah. We're on this new thing I found out through Twitter called Samsung Podcast. So I made sure to upload us on that. And that's actually where we've been getting some of our listens. But again, they just categorize it as other. So I don't know how much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are like listening platforms. I didn't list down like what devices they were from, just the programs. So next are the top countries. So I only did the ones that have more than 1%. And then the United States, since that's the biggest, I went through the top, right down top 7 or top 10 states. I can't count, apparently. I did top 10 states and the city. Okay, so the first one, of course, since we're in the United States, it's the United States. And then our top state is where we all live, which is Florida. Yes, Floridians, make me proud of something from this state.
It's most likely just our family members. Probably.
And our friends.
My dad don't be listening to this.
That's true, actually.
I mean, I think he forgets about it until I mentioned to him last night. I was like, Dad, we're going to record our 2-year anniversary tomorrow. He's like, y'all need a guest? I'm like, no, we're good. He's like, you sure? I'm like, I'm positive. I can.
Surprise.
No, Dad.
Simone, Dad.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Love him, but... And then from Florida, of course, our most listened to city is Orlando. So yay, Orlando! Woo!
I'd like to know who in Orlando, though, because like none of us are in Orlando. So that's interesting. So we're thankful. Thank you, Orlando.
Exactly. Because like she said, none of us actually live in Orlando, so it's not us.
Yeah.
My dad lives in Orlando, but I don't think he even knows we have a podcast. I don't know if I've told him.
Did you tell him about it?
I don't think so. Because I don't want him to listen to it, and he's nosy. So he will.
It's not like we talk about anything bad, though. It's just nerd stuff. Like, I went to brunch the other day with Precious and a coworker, and we were talking about something. Oh, I mentioned I listen to podcasts. She's like, yeah, she listens to podcasts. I'm like, Tara, I have a podcast. She's like, you do? And I was like, yeah. But it's stuff you're not interested in. It's anime and K-pop with the occasional, like, talking about the world's on fire.
Yeah.
My dad wouldn't listen because he's interested. He would listen because he's nosy. So I don't know. I just find that weird.
Yeah.
So
I don't know either, but like Nafis said, thank you. So then our next state is Virginia, and the top city is Washington. I didn't know there was a city called Washington in Virginia, but
Me neither. Okay.
Next, we have Washington State.
Okay.
And the top city is Seattle. Fourth place is Ohio with the top city, Columbus. Let me say this in advance before I keep going. If I mispronounce any state, especially when I get to the next countries, I'm so sorry. Okay? Disclaimer, if I mispronounce anything, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I hope you don't mispronounce any of the states in the
Well,
United States.
you know how I am sometimes, so we're going to keep going. I already said Ohio, so next is...
I will judge you for that. I won't judge you for the other countries.
Thanks, Macy. Next, we have Alabama, and this top city is Saraland. Because some of these cities I've never heard of, so... I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly.
I meant the states. Alabama cities, that's a different story.
Okay. So what was that? 5? 6 is Texas with the top city is Dallas. 7 is New York State with the top city Orchid Park. 8 is Georgia and the top city is Atlanta. 9 is California and the top city is Anaheim. I don't know where that is. And then last but certainly not least is North Carolina, and the top city is Charlotte.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of those are just capital cities.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
And Orlando's not the capital of Florida.
I know. I'm
it's
just
a big
saying.
City.
I did say all of them. I said a lot of them.
Which ones are the capitals that I just said?
Guys, do we really want to discuss this right now?
Okay, we're going to keep going. We go on tangents, guys. You should know this by now.
I'm just saying that for the sake of our, listeners. They don't want to know if we know the capitals or not.
The capitals.
The next country is Taiwan after the United States. So Taiwan is the second most listened to country.
Oh, that's interesting.
And this is what I'm going to mispronounce. Haichong City is the top place.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, anyone in Taiwan if I mispronounced that. Next country, third country. There's 7, by the way, just to let you guys know. 7 top country that's above the 1% that listen to us is Germany. And the top place is Hesse. Hesse.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm German, but I don't speak it, so okay. I can't tell you if you're right or not.
Next country is India.
Oh, interesting.
City is Haryana.
Haryana?
Sure. I didn't want to butcher that, so Haryana?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for listening to us, guys. Next is Canada, and the highest place is, Manitoba?
I think you said that pretty well. Manitoba.
Next is the Philippines, and the highest place is Manila.
I think Manila's the
Manila.
Metro Manila?
I guess. Again, I apologize.
Okay.
I like how Macy's not even trying. And then last but not least is Australia, and the highest place is New South Wales.
Okay.
So thank you.
That's
for all
pretty
those
diverse.
places.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
And then last but not least, as far as our stats, I will talk about the highest, most listened to episodes. So the very first one is the Can You Guess Our Favorite Blackpink episode? Honestly, I think that's because I had to make an edit in there and I had to re-upload it. So it kind of re-uploaded like a new episode, but it didn't erase any of our old listen to. So that one's the highest now at 81 listens. The next one is the Can You Listen To? A lot of these have to do with the K-pop ones, just to let you know. Can you guess my favorite TXT song at 53 plays? That one was the highest for the longest until the Blackpink one beat it out. So TXT. The next one is the one that me and Macy did with BTS, the Rap Line edition at 44 plays.
Okay.
The next one's not a K-pop one. It's, I think only me and Nafis are in this, but I labeled it Thoughts and Rambles, The World is on Fire with 43 plays. I don't remember what we talked about.
Okay.
Probably the state of the world.
It's just you two. I don't remember that.
Yes. Next one is Can You Guess My Favorite Song? Ketchup with 42 plays. So that's when me and Macy went back, and the groups that we did, we kind of like caught up to where they are now, basically. This one was surprising. The next one is a movie review that we did, the Love and Leashes one, at 41 plays.
Oh, okay.
And then at the same number at 41 plays is the ATEEZ one. So Can You Guess My Favorite ATEEZ song? 8th place is the Can You Guess My Favorite Song BTS edition part 1. That one I kind of wish we went back and was able to like redo, just because I feel bad. I told Macy this in the catch-up one, but like as we kept playing the game, we like introduced the group, did backgrounds, here are the members, and I didn't do that with BTS just because in my mind, I guess I'm kind of like, oh, everyone already knows who they are. Let's just talk about what songs we like from them. And that was the very first kind of like episode we did with the game, so I didn't know if we were going to keep playing with it or not. So if I could redo one, I would like to do that one. But again, in my mind, I just assume everyone already knows who they are. So I don't know if it'd make a difference or not. And this one's really shocking. It's in the top 10, but it's when me and Nafis, like, this is our second episode, I think we did, about living in Florida.
Oh,
38 plays.
Okay.
And I don't remember what I said about that.
You said a lot about Florida.
Did I? I thought I was like trying not to. I can't remember.
You also mentioned that in the episode. You tried not to, but like we just ended up talking about a lot of things.
Well, apparently people like to listen to us talk about living in Florida Why? I don't know.
Maybe they're trying to come here to visit.
I don't know why, but okay. I know I'm not helping with the tourist attraction or whatever. And then last but certainly not least is Got 7 Part 2. The Can You Guess Our Favorite Got 7 song when we talked about JJ Project, Just 2, and Jackson Wang, Mirror's little EP with 34 plays.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's our stat, guys. Those are the places that listen to us the most. And as for now, our highest listened to episodes. And anything could change. The Blackpink one is really close to being 100 plays. So.
That's awesome.
Do you might have this. Do you happen to have our like overall how many plays we've gotten up to this point?
I have to go online real quick because it changed since I uploaded. I can do that real quick because I'm always signed up. Again, this could be inaccurate because Apple Music or Apple Podcasts when I went on says something a lot higher, but we're at least at like 1,268 plays.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
considering we don't like advertise or anything like that.
We don't advertise. Yeah. We're inconsistent. These episodes come out wherever. I say we're doing a pretty good job on not being on a set schedule.
Yeah.
And also not having ads.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. So again, we're just doing this for fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, since Brianna is not here, I guess I can skip over the whole segment I had of mess and K-pop. I guess we'll just have to do a whole other thing in that. Even though we don't really talk about it. I think you could
dedicate a whole episode to that.
Yeah.
But
and I usually try to stay away, but it's been interesting. I was telling Macy before we recorded, I kind of wish we did our One Us episode earlier. We still gonna do it, and I'll talk about the mess that happened. So look out for that. It's just a reminder, guys. We don't know these celebrities. Just keep that in mind. I already talked about the crush situation in the Stray Kids episode, so I don't feel like rehashing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I know it's been talked to death, but I'll just say real quick, I am just, as always, even though I'm not really religious, praying for BTS's physical and mental health. And that's it. I'm not getting to anything else. I've said this multiple times on different scenarios. As a non-Korean, someone who doesn't live in South Korea and who does not pay any type of Korean taxes, I do not feel comfortable talking about any type of politics, which I've been seeing online lately. I know this episode's going to come out later, is kind of bad because there was a huge protest about their current president. I saw in Seoul the other day, like 1 million people, literally 1 million people showed up. So yes.
Wow.
Girl. But yeah, because it's not like it's all sunshine and rainbows over here in the US that we live in a complete utopia. So who am I to talk about it? I've just been seeing some interesting things on both sides about it. I don't feel comfortable about getting any type of opinion. I just pray for their mental and physical health. And that's it. And I will see them in 2025, maybe 2026. Y'all, I will be 28, 29 around that time. I like how we all got really quiet.
I'm getting older.
I know. Like on some Twitter, I've been seeing people be like, oh, I'll be 21. I'll be 18. And I'm just like, shut up. Shut up.
I'll be in my 30s.
On the feast, you're also turning 30 soon. How do you feel?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel like for that next decade, I'm just going to focus on being more like happy and less stressed. Because like that's what I did for my 20s. Like I was just stressed about everything. I'm going to try to not do that as much.
That's real. I get that. I'm actually trying to do that now. So it's a little bit hard. Yeah. And like sometimes you're like, you see the state of the world and you're just like, hide.
Right.
Which you can't always do, but.
Yeah, but definitely the sooner you start that, the better.
You guys have anything you wanted to say about them going to the military?
I'm glad they made the decision for themselves instead of waiting. And because at the end of the day, it is a requirement that the men in South Korea have to do. So at least no one can tell them that they didn't serve their country and things like that, you know?
Or was trying to get special privileges.
Yeah, special, yeah, exactly. So good on them for making that decision.
Anything, Macy? Because I know you haven't really said anything about it since we brought it up, so.
I Well, because I don't feel like I have the right to speak on it.
Right, of
but,
course.
And I think that the culture over there is very different, and it's an honorable thing to do. And if they want to do it, then who am I to
Well, it's not that they
say
want to. They have no choice, basically.
Well,
Yeah.
But over there, it's considered an honor. Like, oh yeah, you go to the military to become a man or whatever. Like it's just a different. I feel like they view it differently. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are like, oh, this fucking sucks. I don't want to do this. But and like you said about the special treatment thing, I feel like the backlash of their own country would be worse
if
than
they didn't go.
If they didn't go,
Yeah.
and like their stupid fans that are across the water, like tweeting about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they should care about our opinions. They should just care about what they want to do, and if that's something that they want to make the choice instead of waiting, then that's perfect. I don't have an issue with that. And I find it weird that people do have an issue with it. So.
Yeah. And honestly, the people that do have an issue with it, I feel like should be Koreans because, again, that's something they have to deal with. So, like, all the opinions I'm looking at, I will listen to Koreans whether they agree or not. So.
Like, I would have an issue with forced draft here, but that's in my own country, and like it wouldn't necessarily affect me, but it might affect the people that I love and care about. But like, I don't feel like it's my place because they have their own cultural, political stance in their own country, and if they really have an issue with it, their politicians need to speak on behalf of them and change things. So,
And just to add to that, we were kind of talking about this earlier. We're kind of the reason why they have to do that mandatory 2 years.
That's
so
why I'm like, if you're, especially in America, like, because like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I really don't know. Aren't they still technically in a Cold War with North Korea?
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah.
So there's so much that goes into why this is still happening that I think people, especially if you don't look at Korea outside of the K-pop, they're considering. So that's why I mean, like, for the judgment side, I don't. It's just a slippery slope. I just want them to be okay. That's all I care about. I just care about their well-being.
Yeah.
As a fan, and that's all I really should care about.
I think I might regret saying this, but I think that a lot of international fans, especially, put BTS on such a high pedestal, like, and kind of forget that they are just people and citizens of their country, and you can't just because like you are super popular doesn't mean you can break the law,
Right. Yeah.
I've seen instances of like celebrities over there in the past that thought that,
yeah,
and it didn't go
I don't
well
know.
for them.
I just like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, they're just people, and yes, they have international fame more than any K-pop group has ever had, but they're still just a singer and a celebrity, and like that doesn't mean that they are exempt from other, like, just because a random guy in the street didn't ascend to their famehood means he's any less than them. So it's just, I don't know, I feel like they put BTS on this weird pedestal that they don't do anything wrong, and that they're not human, they don't have to abide by their country's laws and rules just like everybody else does. So
that's actually well said.
I slightly said that in the Stray Kids episode. I mean, I was mostly talking about something else, but it's the weird thing for me. Not only higher pedestal, but like babying them, which is weird. Like they're not grown people, and it's not even just them. I noticed that with a lot of, I don't even know if it's even just Korean celebrities or just like non-American celebrities, mostly Asian, like East Asian celebrities. I see that more. I don't know about like celebrities like in other places like Europe or like South Asia, stuff like that, but I see it a lot with East Asians, and it never really made sense to me because they treat them like that as a people also, which I find very weird.
I've also never really understand how fans can get they get so invested in these people that like
Maybe that is a whole other episode.
They feel like it's affecting them themselves, like this decision that they have to go through as people, it feels like they're affecting them, and it's like, who the fuck are you? Why? It does not affect your life in any way. That is a whole other episode. Sit down. I don't know. It's just crazy to me because I've never been like super invested in celebrities. Like this is by far the most invested I've been. But it's not like invested in their lives per se. It's just invested in their
like art,
their music and their production and their art. And like, I don't care what they do behind closed doors. Like, why would that have anything to do with me?
Honestly,
so
that's kind of how I feel like when anytime I see like some type of dating scandal. It's like, okay, this is their lives.
They are human.
Especially from a place I know for a fact when I look outside of like K-pop and K-drama, y'all really value relationships. So it's kind of weird to me. Mm-hmm. There's also something else I want to say, and I don't know if it's appropriate to say or not.
Cut it out later.
I'm going to say it, and then y'all can tell me if I should cut it out. Sometimes when I see dating scandals, I'm like, what if they're not even dating? What if they're just sleeping together? What if they just fucking? That's none of our business.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We talk about how so much these are like good looking people. They have to live up to a certain standard as far as appearance and like attitudes. If they find that as released, that's none of my business. That is still a human trait, especially if they're grown. I'm talking about the grown ones here. Okay, don't twist my roads. Don't twist my words and think I'm talking about everyone, because there's, again, a different time. But I'm talking about the grown idols.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's gone too far, and it's gone too far for a very long time, and nothing I say is going to change anything.
Exactly.
But like, how did we get to this point where it's so off the rails that people are like crying and like being mean to others because their favorite person in the world is going to the army? Like, we need to step back. Step back. What about the people in your actual life? So
another topic for another day. Well, yes.
This should be a happy episode. We're just ranting. We survived 2 years. The world still sucks, people.
Yeah. What has happened, okay? A lot has happened in entertainment and real life. We're all going through it. And now that I'm on TikTok, that's another thing I didn't think I'd join, guys. Look how a year changes. I finally broke down and joined TikTok.
Broke you.
It did break me. So, sometimes I'm like, I see stuff like that, and then sometimes I see fun stuff. We're all just going through it.
I strictly go on TikTok to relax and have fun, and I spend much less. Well, yeah, but you can kind of direct.
Yes.
But it depends on what you're liking and what you're watching. But there's a reason that I've been spending a lot less time on the internet and more time just being outside with my dog, because the internet's a scary place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it only seems like it's getting worse, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I could spend another hour on TikTok, or I could go play with my dog. Mm-hmm. And my dog has nothing negative to say. So.
But yeah, I think I'm kind of like that too. I'm at that point where like I just need to be off the internet a lot less, like Twitter and TikTok.
It just makes me upset. It's like I spend a couple of minutes like looking at stuff, and I'm like, this is not what I was on here for. I was just, looking for updates or wanting to see what my favorite artist is up to, and all I'm seeing is like post after post after post of people being negative and hating on each other and talking about why they're doing this and why they're doing that. I'm like, well, I guess I'll just go back outside.
Sometimes it's good, though, because I'm more aware of what's going on in the world. Like, I am praying for all the women in Iran and what's going on with them. I just want to say that real quick. So it could be helpful. But sometimes, even with that, like, I sit there and I feel sort of helpless that I can't do more to help, Yeah,
it's like, what can I do that would make the biggest impact without... Like, I don't want to because if I just spend hours looking at this stuff online, I just get sad. And but is there a way to proactively help the situation instead of just looking at these posts over and over and over again and hating the world even more? Because that's not productive either. So
yeah, which is one to learn, especially with all the incidents that's been happening. And it's like, as much as I have to, especially being a Black person in this world, be more cautious of basically everything. I can't let that dictate how my life is going. I use it to be as safe as possible, but I can't let that ruin the little happiness that I can get. So I also am trying to learn how to navigate through that. Because I feel like I'm a broken record right now, and I've told this in the fees. The whole world at this point is anti-Black. And when we talked about stuff like with Yumi cells, it doesn't matter where I point to, I cannot get away from it. So it's I have to know my limit. That's with anything I consume at this point. It takes a lot more for change, a lot more people to willingly speak up and be like, hey, we have a problem. Let's actually try to fix it. So Yeah, just a lot going on. Just a lot going on. I was not trying to make the 2nd year anniversary like serious, guys. I'm so sorry.
It always seems to turn out
I
that
don't know
way.
where all this pent up, like, where this is coming from. Okay, well, let's get on to something fun before we go. Hey guys, hey, just popping in real quick. Please excuse my voice. I literally just woke up in case it sounds weird. I just wanted to come in real quick, do a first reaction of Jen's new song, Astronaut, that came out. I know we didn't talk about it in this episode. We were already on a time crunch, and as you guys know by now, we go on tons of tangents. But before, Jen does the enlistment process or does the paperwork to officially end his delay of enlistment, he released the song Astronaut, and Coldplay helped, I'm assuming, also produce and write this for him. But it just dropped today. Like I said, it's early. It's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time as we record this. You don't care. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm still on sleep brain. That's why I'm rambling a little bit. But I just wanted to give my first reactions. I am not gonna lie. I was a little scared when I first saw he was going to release a song. Not in a bad way. Scared is maybe just an overreactive word. But I was like, okay, the song is either gonna make me really happy or curl up in the fetal position and question my life, because some Jin songs, have that effect on me. It was one or the other, but it was so cute. This was happy, sad, definitely happy. Tears was coming. I know I shed a one lone single tear down my cheek towards the end of this, but yeah, I can't really get into theories or meanings of the music video and song. One, because I'm not fully awake to do that. Two, I just wanted to enjoy the music and the music video. So I thought it was sweet. You can definitely tell Coldplay helped with this song. I can't explain Coldplay's songs. They have I don't know what to call it, but if you ever heard a Coldplay song before, you know what I'm talking about. There's just a certain sound that they do where you hear, you're just oh, that's Coldplay. Even though I don't listen to Coldplay that much. And I know they posted it online, on Twitter, but you can hear Chris Martin's vocals in the back as well. But still, Jin has a beautiful voice. I love it. It's adorable. I love the music video. It's a great actor. He did a great job pretending he's from another world and put into a new one, but trying to adjust. If you ever seen one of those alien type movies, it was done in that way. But still, I thought it was adorable. And yeah, and non-K-pop related, I love Chloe Bailey. I liked her song. She also dropped a song. It was cute. Almost kind of the same, not sad, but it was going through an emotion of talking to someone you have romantic feelings with, and they're again, I can't explain it. I think I just haven't fully woken up yet. Maybe this was a mistake. Anyway, I love Jin's song. I love Chloe's song. I even listened to SZA's Shirt because I don't really listen to her music, but I watched the music video. That was good. I still have not watched, or I don't think this is a music video for. I haven't listened to Rihanna's song she did for Wakanda Forever, but I'm sure it's great. Okay, I'm sorry guys. Before I really go, I just got done listening to the new Rihanna song. So I must have just been excited to hear new music from her. Completely forgot that this song is basically a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. So it looks like now I have two songs that kind of broke me on a Friday morning. So that's great. But it's still beautiful. I enjoyed her voice, of course. Yeah, two songs that made me cry this morning. Was not expecting that. I just realized I didn't say the names of any of these songs before we go. So Jin, well, I already said his 1,000 times. Jin, Astronaut, Chloe Bailey, For the Night featuring Lotto, SZA is called Shirt, and Brianna's is called Lift Me Up. So yeah, go stream all those songs, guys. I didn't get to say this at the beginning, so I thought it'd be fun. Sadly, again, Brianna's not here, so she can't participate. But I actually went back and re-listened to our 1-year anniversary episode. If you haven't listened to it, I would suggest listening to it. It's actually really funny listening to all of us back then. We sound so young and cute. Also, I didn't realize, apparently we were all supposed to play a Would You Rather game, and we never did because we ranted and, like, got off topic so much. So maybe our third year anniversary, we could do Would You Rather. We'll put that in the back of our minds. But I listened to the questions Macy came up with, and I wrote them down, and I also wrote down our answers, and I wanted to see if in the year they changed or not. So do you want me to ask the question and tell you our answers? Or do you just want me to ask the question, you guys answer, and I'll tell you what we answered back then?
Yeah, let's answer first and then compare it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I don't know how much I can contribute because I know the answers since I had to do this. But, yeah, it's fine.
Don't lie. Just answer.
Okay, so the first question was, what's your favorite way to spend a day off?
Do you want me to go first, Nufis, or do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Well, I'm pretty sure my answer is probably about the same because whenever I don't have to work, I'm usually reading or doing absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Like that's my favorite thing to do is nothing. But I've been back on a little bit of a binge of reading webtoons, and then now that I do have a very active puppy, I spend quite a bit of time working with her. She's going to training classes and stuff, so any of my free time, I'm taking her to public places and working with her. So I've gotten out more on my days off, but I still my favorite thing to do is nothing.
That's good.
Which I'm pretty sure is what I answered originally.
Nafis?
I think for me now, it's like I enjoy sleeping because like my schedule is just so busy these days. I enjoy sleeping, and then if I'm not sleeping, like just going through TikTok or YouTube shorts. And if I'm not doing that, I'm watching a K-drama. So
true. I'll say for now, it's still sleeping. Although I think I have been trying to work better at like taking care of myself, so I do more actively try to like at least exercise, make sure I'm getting enough rest during like work days, so that way I notice I haven't really been taking as many naps during my off days as I used to. Still trying to work on the going out more. I know me and my friend Precious, we have actually, when we're both off, been going out more, whether it's just like to go get lunch or brunch or just like walk around the mall, because there's really not a lot to do where I live. So just little things like that. I'm trying to get a little bit better. And now there's a new coworker that I actually do actively try to hang out with, again, whether it's lunch or something. So just really going out. And I have been catching up on a lot of the anime that I haven't been watching. So I'm catching up on My Hero Academia. They put Mob Psycho season 3 on Hulu, so I've been watching that. I've been watching Spy X Family.
That's so cute. I finished the first season.
It's adorable. It's a good. I've tried to watch more good, feel good like stuff.
Yeah.
Again, so I don't think about the state of the world. So that's funny, especially the feces, because we all said sleeping at that time.
Yeah.
And then I brought up TV, webtoons, and eating. But still, we all mostly consented on like sleeping.
Just straight up sleeping?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
We were all in bad places back that time.
I must be less tired than I was.
That's good, though.
Yeah. That is progress.
Okay. So the next question was, where's the next place on your travel bucket list and why? And we didn't really answer the why part, but we did answer where we wanted to go. So
yeah, I think mine's probably still about the same. The places that I want to go, like somewhere new that I really want to go is South Korea or Japan, and Germany. I think that was also one of mine, which it still is. But as far as like somewhere that I would like to visit again would be New York. So
okay,
I think we might try to do that next Thanksgiving. So we'll see, because I've always kind of wanted to see the Macy's Day Parade in person, so I think that would be fun.
You got to be careful because it's very crowded. A lot of people camp out during the night, so just be careful. But that would be fun. We'll see. Even
if we could just get like a hotel somewhere near it, and so that we just watch from our balcony or something, that would be cool. So
that's actually a very smart idea.
Like, I don't need to be up close and personal. In fact, I hate being in crowded spaces. Like, I'm actually quite claustrophobic. So concerts are a double-edged sword for me because I really want to go and it's really fun. But I also, if somebody touches my shoulder one too many times, I'm going to freak out. So
I did fine at the Eric Nam concert, though.
I internally
I get
was
it.
uncomfortable, but it was worth it because it was so fun and amazing. So, you know. It doesn't, the claustrophobia doesn't outweigh the fun events that I can go to.
Yeah.
It just, and I have to get into it. But like at first, and like when at one point in that concert, there was somebody like poking me in the back, I was like, I'm gonna smack her.
I'm gonna turn around, backhand.
If you poke me one more time, I'm gonna lose it. So,
Nafis.
I think for me, I would like to go to Dubai. I've been wanting to go there for like such a long time now. So yeah, I think there and like India probably to visit my grandmother. Tickets and everything is just so expensive these days. And I'm like, so it's been a struggle, but I really do want to go back.
This kind of goes into my thing I was talking about as like being Black and knowing how I'm perceived in the world. And I don't want that to stop me from enjoying myself. So I just really want to travel. I still do think, even with everything going on, I would still like to go to Seoul, South Korea, maybe other cities too in South Korea, like Busan, Jeju Islands, any other type of city that I might not know about. I would definitely have to improve on my Korean so I can travel better, just for my comfort level. Hey, I can do that while BTS is on a break. Yeah, I don't really know where else. Maybe also Japan. I actually always wanted to go to Japan. And somewhere like, maybe like Malaysia or something. I hear Singapore is really nice. I've been kind of interested in there.
So many things about Singapore too.
So places in that area, just to travel. Okay, so before we move on to this question, it kind of had me thinking as I was editing, like listening to Macy and Nafisa's answers. Mostly when Nafisa said she'd like to go visit her family in India, I was kind of thinking, I would really like to see like where in Africa like my ancestry comes from. That would obviously have to take some research on my part, maybe do like an ancestry.com or one of those like, what is it, 23andMe type tests, so I know, and then like pick the top 3 that it comes back and visit those places. Because I'm a Black American guy, so 1, I just don't know. 2, I'm sure mine is just like mixed with a bunch of stuff if you know our history. But yeah, I've been thinking about that for a little bit, especially when I was editing this, and I think that might be cool. So we'll see what happens in the future. That would definitely require a lot of money because I know those kits can be quite expensive, as well as money to travel there. But who knows? Maybe I'll add that to my bucket travel list. So last year, of course, I said Seoul, South Korea, and then I actually did mention Dubai, and then I know we got into like a little debate with Brianna. She said one of her students said it's not all that. So if you don't remember, go back and listen to it. Nafis, you actually said New York.
Really?
And that's all you said? Yeah, you said you wanted to go back there because you haven't been in a while. Macy said Seoul, South Korea, and France. I don't think you brought up Germany. Also, I would have wrote it down. Yeah, and then Brianna said Korea, Singapore, and England. So, yeah. Next question was, what was the last TV show you binge watched? And I noticed we didn't really, some of us, the only person who really answered it as a true binge was Nafis. The rest of us kind of talked about like what we were watching, but I don't think really binging. But the only one who really answered was Nafis. So,
oh my gosh.
Anything you guys been actually truly binging? Or no? Or what? Just what you've been watching lately? I kind of already mentioned what I've been watching already.
Well, I binge watched Big Mouth. I think that's what it's called. The new K-drama.
Oh, that's on Hulu.
Yeah. So that's the last thing.
Is it good? I've been interested in watching it. Oh, no?
I like it and I don't like it. Oh,
it got good. Well, actually, I don't know. I thought it got good ratings when it was airing.
It did. Like, the story is good, but they just... I feel like I've watched too many thrillers, which is why it was a little, like, weak for me. But, like, otherwise, it's a normally good show.
That was all you've been?
That's all I've binged, but, like, I've been watching other stuff.
I feel like I haven't watched a show in, like, a while. because I've been reading more than watching things. And I feel I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I swear the last thing I straight up binge watched is I rewatched Kingdom. So like I binge watched that.
Oh, so, you're talking about Legendary Wars.
But yes, I'm not talking about the K-drama.
I was like, that's why I was like, which Kingdom? Because there's Kingdom that me and Nafis watch with the zombies, and I'm like, wait, Macy don't do zombies.
You know that I wouldn't watch that. What are you talking about?
It's so good though. I'm still waiting for season 3. I don't
watch anything with zombies in it.
Where is season 3? Come on now. It's been how long?
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna come with a season 3 though.
But they left it on such a cliffhanger. I'm going to cry if they don't.
Yeah. At least they should have one just to wrap up the series.
Exactly. Even if it's just 3 episodes, that is okay with me. Just something to wrap it up. I hate when there's cliffhangers and all of a sudden the network's like, we're going to cancel you. Like, no. Let them do a proper send-off.
No, but like I'll say this again, like Kingdom is probably the most well done K-drama I have ever seen. Like it's just chef's kiss, like so well done.
We will do a review, guys, trust me. Okay. Honestly, I don't think I've really binge watched anything. Like I just said, I'm trying to catch up on some anime. But as far as binging, yeah.
Oh, I think when this came out, Squid Games had come out, right? And that's what I was talking about, or it was either you. One of those was what I binge watched, I think.
So you have a good memory.
Yeah.
Real quick, the only thing I think I technically binge is I found this show on Netflix. It's not like a K-drama or anything, but it's called like The Imperfects. It's actually pretty interesting. It was basically about like these, I don't think they're students, but like these 3 people, and like you find out later they were being experimented on when they were younger. So they've been taking like these pills for like 7 years to subdue like the reactions, and then they run out of pills and they start getting like basically power. So like one girl has like a power of like a succubus where like she releases pheromones and everyone is like willing to do whatever she says. Another guy who is Hispanic, which I don't know if it's like low-key racist or not, he turns into like a chupacabra. And then another girl's kind of like a banshee where like of course when she screams she can like shatter basically everything, and she has like super high-pitched hearing. And like the whole plot is basically trying to find the doctor that did this to him or did this to them and like get him to fix them and turn them back into normal humans. It's interesting. They left on a cliffhanger, so I'm actually hoping they make a season 2 because I actually really enjoyed that. And that's the first like non-anime or Korean show I've watched in a while that I'm not keeping up with besides Abbott Elementary. So it's good. So last year I said you, Squid Game, Alice in Borderland, still not worth it, and Fairy Tail the final season. Nafis, your memory's correct. You said You season 3 and Squid Game. Macy said, I don't think I wrote it down correctly, Haikyuu, the volleyball anime. Haikyuu, yes. And then Brianna said Squid Game, and then she like briefly mentioned Downton Abbey. And
Downton Abbey.
Nailed it. And My Name. I think I watched it. I don't think I liked it.
I didn't like it either, so I stopped.
I don't think I liked that ending. But yeah, those are the shows we said last year. Next question is, what's the first thing you would do if you won the lottery?
So I want to start my own business. So that's probably what I would do with it. I'm hoping to, in the next couple of years, at least go mobile grooming independent. But if I won the lottery, I'd open my own salon and do the full thing. And then, of course, family members that need it and take care of everybody.
Yeah, I think for me, I would give some away. Charity, family members, all of that. And then I would invest some of it after I buy a house and a nice car, because those are important.
Yeah, definitely the house thing.
Yes.
I like my car, but I would buy a house.
Yeah, Macy, you got a nice car, so.
Why'd you say it like that?
Not. Anyway, honestly, I don't know anymore. Because I feel like the basic answer is like how you guys are saying, like buy a house, all that, give some away, which I probably still do, at least to like my brother and my father. Those are the most 2 important people in my life. So yeah, honest, because I just don't know.
Now, it would also depend on how much,
Mhm.
because if I had enough...
True, and you didn't ask that. You didn't say, like, a net value amount.
If I had enough to never work again while still giving my family enough money, I would just travel. I would take, like, a couple of years off and just travel and just do what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then... But if I didn't have enough money to survive the rest of my life, then I would go ahead and start the business. And still, I would probably still take a month off each year to go somewhere new.
How amazing would that be?
It also depends, like, because I know they do a different way, like, how you accept the money, because, like, you know, when it comes to taxes, because, you know, they still tax you on it,
You know,
at least here in America.
Okay. We seriously need to get better at trigger warnings. I'm going to try to make a better conscious effort of making them, or while we're recording, if I think we're going to a dark place, saying them. But just to let you know, we get way off topic. I really don't know how we went from, well, I do, you hear it, from the lottery to this. So, like, trigger warning now, we do talk a little bit about, like, not getting into detail, but just, like, bring up about, like, human trafficking and sex trafficking, murder, and then a scary situation happened to Macy that she'll tell briefly. So if any of this seems bothersome, because it involves, like, someone almost breaking into her house, you can skip, like, maybe safely 10 to 15 minutes. Again, trigger warning for all this. Sex trafficking, human trafficking, a little bit of, like, abuse when it comes to relationships, whether that's parental relationships or, like, romantic relationships. But I just thought I should put this on here.
That's so funny you asked that question, because just this morning I read an article of how, like, people that win the lottery are, like, murdered most of the time. And so like the article is talking about
you to say that.
Yeah, so the article is talking about how to claim your money anonymously so people don't target you and try to take your ticket.
That's
Yeah, and murder you
interesting.
for your money.
Yeah.
You know, that's sad. It is probably people that know them too.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that kind of money changes people, you know, so.
Yeah. Well, most murders are committed by somebody you know, actually.
Yeah.
Except for serial killers, though, right?
Well, serial killers, sure, but, like, that's quite rare. There aren't that many serial killers, like, active at a time, but, like, the number one reason for murder is, like, relationship issues. That's why the police go to your spouse and your family members first, because you either got in a fight with your significant other, money, like you have life insurance policy or something, or you have a lot of money that they would receive from your death, and just, like, general, like, jealousy, like, oh, you cheated on this person, so, you know, like, whatever. But usually it's interpersonal relationships that cause the most murders.
That's interesting, but that's not surprising, because that's with a lot of things. That's like with sex trafficking too. And I only had to learn about that because when I used to work at the hotel, like, people don't realize. I know there's a lot of videos when, like, people are saying, like, they almost got kidnapped or stuff, but it's really people you know.
You know,
So
the number one contributor to human trafficking is someone within your own family or circle of friends in rural areas.
yes,
Really?
So.
and, like, relationships too. So, like,
And most of them are unfortunately minors.
yeah, minors are people in very bad financial situations.
But aren't
People who can be easily manipulated.
But aren't big city areas more prone to be, like, human trafficking rings, though?
So you're thinking of, like, people transporting people that they don't know out of the country.
You also think of human trafficking as far as working.
But, like, that's a fraction of what human trafficking is. So, like, the majority of it is, like, people who aren't even being kidnapped. It's like, hey, I'm going to let you borrow my kid for 2 hours and you're going to pay me.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of like the everyday face of human trafficking. It's not always people locked up in a dungeon in another country. It's happening in our own backyards.
That's exactly what I have in my mind, though, when they say
And
human
you're also
trafficking.
thinking with the big city, you're thinking of human trafficking when it comes to working. So, like how we always say, like, especially if people who immigrated over here and looking for jobs and, like, they don't have their papers or green card yet, that's an easy way for them, because they'll put them in, like, jobs where they don't really check that much. So, and then they'll have them all, like, living together
or
in not great situations or something like that, or, like, runaways. Still goes in the minor thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things like that. I can't believe we got off topic to something so dark. But the lottery.
right?
Oh, dear Lord. Oh,
Not to continue the tangent, but I have a story.
Yes, go for it.
I haven't told you.
oh my God.
I haven't told you because it happened like 2 nights ago, and I've been freaked out. And I haven't wanted to like jinx anything, but I almost had to call the police like 2 nights ago because I was home alone. And I now officially live in a rural area, so I'm especially freaked out. We're out in the country by ourselves. And so my mom and my aunt were out at a concert. And I heard a car pull into my driveway, and I heard somebody walk up the stairs because we live in a stilt house, so I can hear and feel when somebody walks up the stairs. And so I thought it was them. And then I heard this like tapping, like light tapping on a window, and I heard a man whistling. And he walked around our deck, and he looked up through our like over our fence and was like walking around. And luckily my neighbor saw him, and my neighbor is ex-army.
Oh, that's
and
good.
he's just like kind of like on the lookout. And then Mavis started barking. So I think that scared him off because he drove away on his own. But then my neighbor, my mom, I texted my mom, I'm like, are you outside? And she's like, yeah, at the concert. I'm like, no, there's somebody outside, like looking places and tapping on windows and stuff. And so she texted my neighbor, and he came over with a flashlight and made sure that there was like nobody in my car or like in the backyard or whatever. So now I'm freaked out because it was 9:00 at night. It was dark.
Oh, wow.
And this random man was walking, and you have to go through a gate to get to either of our staircases.
Mhm.
It's not locked, but you have to physically go through a gate. And then yesterday, I had another interaction with, I was taking Mavis out. Now, it was broad daylight when this one happened, but I was taking her outside, and this white truck came, like, was going maybe 2 miles to an hour around the corner. And then I was walking, so we're up on the stilt house, right? So there's like, we're up on a deck, and we're walking around, and he's pulling down, and he comes to a stop with his window down in front of our house, and he's making like kissing noises at the dog, and like completely ignored me, like trying to get the dog to go to him instead of listening to me. And I kind of like waved at him, and I opened the door. I'm like, come on, Mavis. And he's like, you know, like making noises at the dog, and she listened to me. But then after he realized I could recalled her, he sped off.
That's so weird.
That is so weird. Yeah.
I'm glad you're okay,
needless to say,
Macy.
I'm kind of freaked out about my area right now.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that the person who was walking around was maybe just at the wrong house, or maybe like a DoorDash delivery person. But we don't really get DoorDash out here because we're so far.
Mhm.
Like when I open my DoorDash app, it just says there's no restaurants in your area. And
If he was
like,
also a DoorDasher, he wouldn't be circling your house. He would just drop off the food at your front door.
Like every time I've had a DoorDash person confused about where I am, they call me. So I don't know.
Does your house look like any of the other houses in your street?
No, we live on a dead-end street as well. So you don't go down our street unless you have a reason to be down there.
That is
And
wow.
each house is unique. We have some trailers, we have some beautiful brick historic homes, and our house is like a blue house on stilts. So
Wow.
Be careful.
Yes.
If you guys don't already have
Carry
a
your
security
pepper
system,
spray.
please buy one.
Yeah.
right.
Get a ring, okay?
Last night I was, it's kind of embarrassing, but I was taking Mavis out, and I'm like, I could take the flashlight that like we have like one of those police, like the big metal flashlights, or I could take a knife, and I took a knife.
Yeah.
So
You might need to buy a taser as well.
yes.
And pepper spray.
So needless, it just made me think of that because we were talking about human trafficking. So
Oh my
Yeah, I'm
gosh.
glad
you don't
you're
hear from
okay.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary. I
Oh.
mean, I don't
Yeah,
really...
no. It is
But
scary.
that's very sweet of your neighbor
And
too, though, to come and check up on
yes,
you.
the scariest part is that I was expecting them to come home. So when he was tapping on the windows, the doors were not locked.
Macy, you need to start locking your
So
doors.
I had, well, I usually do, but I was
know.
expecting them to be home in the next 30 minutes. So I had unlocked it so that they wouldn't have to fumble with their keys. But yeah, no, once I heard him walking back down the stairs, I ran down and I locked all the doors.
Imagine if he
But-
had just tried the door, like done. That would have been it.
I didn't hear any jiggling of the doorknobs or anything, but I was terrified. So,
and I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah.
like, do not think that you are. That's the best advice I can give is do not think that you're being paranoid. Like, if you don't feel safe or you see big tellers, especially like I go to work and I park in the same spot every time. You really shouldn't do that. But my car is so recognizable that I figure if I'm parking in a different spot, like a couple speed away, people are still going to see my car.
Yeah, your car is bright green. It's kind of hard to miss.
Yes. If you see a zip tie on your car, if you see a t-shirt, if you see a pamphlet, either have somebody walk you to your car or get in your car immediately. Do not mess with those things. Don't take them off until you get out of that place. So, because the zip tie thing, especially, people are putting zip ties on people's door handles, and it's a signal that this person is vulnerable and alone. So they can
Macy, how do you know that?
While you're...
I mean, I've known that because I've been seeing it on the internet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I follow quite a few like crime podcasts, and there's one in particular that he's an ex-cop, so he gives just like self-defense tips a lot.
Gotcha.
And the new thing is zip ties. It used to be like pamphlets or t-shirts, which is still happening, but the new thing right now is people putting zip ties, because you look at it, that's new, and then you try to get it off and then they grab you. So either get somebody to walk you to your car if you notice that, or just immediately get in your car and lock your doors and like don't stay there.
That's why I don't play. Like, as soon as I get to my car, I get in, I immediately lock it. That's the good thing about my new car. I don't have to have the car
I usually do that. Don't walk out to your car without your keys in your hand. Like, have them ready.
Yeah. Oh, I have my keys ready like Wolverine. Like, you know how he has his nails out? Just like that.
Yeah, like, I must stab you.
Right.
Like, good thing about my car too is since it's newer and updated, I don't have to have my keys out. There's a button I can press. So as long as the keys are in facility, I can get in.
I can just put my hand around the handle. But if you're walking up to like your house, for example, like I have to put my key physically in my door.
Yeah.
So I always have it in my hand before I even get out of my car.
But what I do though is like when I'm walking,
be vigilant.
yeah, like when I'm walking up to my car, when I get in, I always check in the back too, just in case. You never know.
There's sad things we have to go through as women.
Yeah, no, it's.
But another thing, though,
was all that worried about it. But recently, I've had a couple of incidents, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to be a little bit more careful.
No, you have to.
But another thing that I've noticed, though, like I saw this online, is that this is not for like kidnapping or anything. This is just for like stealing. People will like put something on your car or like put something under your tire so it'll like stop. And like, you know how like you typically get out to see what it is? Do not do that because then they'll just get in your car and take your car.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So
whatever it is.
But if you ever feel unsafe, don't be scared to ask somebody to walk you to your car. Like, it's not a big deal. It takes 2 seconds, and then you won't. You know, if they don't go after people that are with other people, regardless of who it is. So they're looking for people who are alone and people who are vulnerable and have things that they want. So just be careful.
Yeah.
Well, if it isn't an I Was Thinking episode where we don't go on a 15-minute tangent, completely opposite.
Hey. We were just talking about what we were thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. And it was a very important PSA of staying safe, especially for my ladies and anyone that presents as feminine out there, okay?
Yeah, not to be even more dark, but we're also coming up on a holiday that people go out at night and drink the Halloween.
Yeah.
And it's getting darker earlier when we do the time change, which I really hope we change because I'm tired of it being 6 o'clock and it's dark. Yeah. Like it's 10 o'clock.
Just don't go out by yourself, go out with your friends, and don't drink too much so that you can be aware of your surroundings.
Make sure all your candy is like in proper packaging.
Sealed.
Yeah, sealed.
Yeah.
So do you guys want me to give the answers of what we said?
Go for it.
What was the question again? I forgot what question we were on.
What's the first thing you would do if you won the lottery?
Donate it to organizations that help with human trafficking.
She's adding on to her answer.
Okay, that's nice. So Brianna said, I guess her and her teachers at her school made some type of pact that they would like distribute it all. So they would give, each teacher something and they'd all quit that day. She'd buy a house and she'd travel more. Macy said, kind of goes in what you were saying earlier about making your own schedule. You just talked about opening up your own business. So making your own schedule and like travel more if you had the option of like working half the year and like the other half being off or something like that. You do it. Paid off your house and a car. Nafis said pay off your loans, buy a house, and invest. How's it going with those loans, Nafis? Have you paid them off?
No, but I'm hoping to get that $10,000 back, though. We'll see how that goes.
For the student loan forgiveness thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I said travel in a small house. Just because how I am, I don't need anything big, grand, and like show-offy. So that was my reasoning. And then we also got into a discussion about how we all said we would still continue working, because I know Brianna brought up like her grandma, like once she stopped working, her mental health went downhill.
Yeah.
And then I said except for me, because at the time I was working at the hotel, so I was kind of like, if I don't have to work again, it's fine. I think I also brought up, I'm not that type of person. Maybe it's changing a little bit. I just need to find me a rich man. And but I don't want to become a housewife.
Yeah.
You know what? It's complicated.
Right? It's like, I don't want to become a housewife because I don't really want kids.
No.
So it's like, is that required? Can I be a housewife that doesn't have children?
It's so dark and morbid, but have you guys seen this one video, whether on TikTok or like Twitter, of like, and the caption says, housewives when their abusive husbands didn't come back from like the 1950 war or something, and she's just dancing around to Christian music.
Oh God.
I'm definitely gonna put an E rating on this episode.
Right. And there's another reason for not wanting to be a housewife is if things go south, I need my own money and my own shit in order to get out.
On these people.
So
okay. That's another thing with abusers. They make sure you're like, you don't have anyone as far as friends and family to count on. They make sure you're financially dependent on them only. We're going to get off this topic. Next question.
Yeah, moving on.
Is there a product you couldn't live without?
Product?
I'm pretty sure I said my phone, and that's still accurate. So, because I couldn't function. I literally couldn't function. I couldn't get anywhere. I don't know.
I don't know. Product. Like,
or air conditioning, because we live in Florida.
I think that's what I said last time was air conditioning. I'm going to stick with air conditioning.
Okay. Product I couldn't live without. I mean, there's just so many, especially with technology now.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I might also just say phone, just because, like, we're too dependent on our phones.
I could give up every other technology, but my phone, it's like it's how I communicate with people. It's how I get anywhere because my sense of direction is
we
awful.
got into a whole rant, tangent about directions.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't know. I couldn't keep track of like the time and where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. It's like I keep everything on my phone, all my money and my banking, and like, I don't know. It's too important now that like I don't think I could go back to living without it. So, and that's sad. I hate that.
Yeah,
but it's true.
Even imagine a time before our phones. I know we were a lot younger
Yeah.
before like iPhones came out, but like even just like flip phones and things like that don't like have a touchscreen. Like imagine if we went back to like old time phones like that with like the buttons and the way we texted and call. You couldn't like get on any type of social media on it. You couldn't get on there to check your bank account. So much.
Actually, touchscreen phones came around like, I want to say 2007, 2008. Because I remember...
Well, not a phone, but I know my first like product was an Apple iPod.
Mm-hmm.
And then I switched to the iPhone because I already had like an Apple account set up. So it was easier for me when I got an actual phone to switch from an iPod to an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
I think my first phone was a Razor.
That's what I was going to say. The Motorola
like,
Razor.
I had a bright pink.
Yeah, it was really popular then.
So I think that was my first official phone.
I had a flip phone because like I use it for emergencies to contact my parents. But it wasn't a Razor.
Right? I don't count it as a phone, but before that I had it was called a Firefly, and it kind of looked like a Tamagotchi. And it had 3 buttons. It had a mom button, like literally like a female bathroom button, and a male like father button, and an emergency button in the middle. And that's it. It was like a panic button for parents and police.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty smart. I mean, they don't need it now because all like 5-year-olds have iPhones.
But yeah, I don't think I ever really used it. But I did have that as like it was called a phone, but it wasn't. Like I couldn't text or call other people. It was just 2 numbers and then 911.
It was like a pager almost, basically.
Yeah, kind of.
Or beeper.
But it was cute, and it had like floral print on it, and like I said, it didn't even say like. It didn't even have like a 1 and 2 button for your 2 emergency contacts. It literally had like a female figure and a male figure. I'm like, this would not fly in today's society.
That's cute. So yes, Macy, you said phone back then, and you also said phone now. Brianna said her car, but then I also brought up the point if we didn't live where we needed to depend on cars so much, would she still have it? She said yes and no, because she also brought up like the freedom of like going wherever you want to go, which I agree. And then like listening to your own music.
If I could only pick one thing, I can listen to music on my phone and I can call an Uber.
Yeah.
So
it's funny how you said that now, because you also said that back then.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate reality of it. So if I could only choose one. Because if I didn't have my phone, I couldn't go anywhere in my car because I don't know where I'm going.
It's sad. So. It's sad. Nafis said air conditioning or an air conditioner. And I said refrigerator. And then Nafis was talking about like, oh, you can, what did you say? Something about putting my food in a trash can and bury it salting meat.
You can put it underground. Yeah.
We're going camping in case anything happens to me. Trust you.
Yep.
So next question is, if you found out today was your last day on Earth, what would you do? All of our answers were kind of similar.
Yeah, I think it's probably still the same. Just spending time with the people that I care about. I think that's what I said. And that's pretty accurate, I think.
I think I'd pray and then spend time with family.
Okay, so Nafis said pray. Brianna said pray and spend time with family. Macy said spend time with family. And I was confused.
You were confused?
I ended up saying spend time with my family, but like I brought up the thing at first when she asked that, I was like, well, if I found out that moment it was my last day, I wouldn't do anything different. So it's kind of like, but then Macy was like, well, just like if you can just go wherever, do whatever. So that's why I was like, okay, spend time with my family. But realistically, if it was just like right then and there, you're going to die, I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything different. I was just like, it's been an okay time. Yes. I won't say it was all bad. I won't say it was all good. I was just kind of here.
Right.
Next question. If you could time travel, when and where would you want to go? And then realize none of us
this discussion.
none of us actually said where until a little bit later. And then the fees brought up an additional question. Would you rather go to the past or the future? My answer's still the same.
Man, I don't remember.
To go to the past, being black. We are going to the future. Because even now, it's not like much has changed.
Yeah. I really don't remember what I said for that one.
I think I said something along the lines of like, I want to go to the future, but like past where I could potentially live like quite a while. So, because I want to see something new. I think that's pretty accurate still. So.
I don't know if I wrote down what you answered the fees, because I only wrote down you asked me and Brianna, was there anything that we wanted to change? We went to the past and we both said no. Again, nothing changed back then. Nothing's changed now. Nothing will change back then. You think two black women? No. We're already going through enough as it is.
Yeah.
No. Future. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better.
Yeah.
We will see. And Brianna did end up saying if she had no choice but to go to the past, she would go to the 90s. And then we talked about like the history of like black television, how we feel like diversity and media is dying. And I still feel like that because people are going up in arms about a mermaid being black. And now I saw a new thing where Teletubbies is coming back on Netflix. And there's a up in arms because the baby son was Asian and black. And I'm like, if y'all don't show your racist ass now, come on now. Y'all are upset because the sons... Future. Again, future.
Right.
But she said 90s.
You may have sent this to me, but I feel like you may have. But that TikTok, that there's this girl that is talking about how, like, why people are so upset about Ariel being black. But, like, she's like, the part that bothers you is that, like, in our culture, there's no reason that she needs to be white. Where, like, Mulan, she has a specific culture. She needs to be Asian, or, like,
honestly, really just Mulan.
But, well, she
Jasmine.
mentioned another one. Yeah, Jasmine. Yeah. Like, in those movies, there's a specific culture being referenced, but, like, white culture doesn't really have anything specific, so, like, it bothers you because it's like, she can totally be black, because, like, it doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Yeah.
Like the one princess they have, like Tiana, like, it's set in New Orleans, but, like,
yeah,
as we're getting to now, and which is actually a point that I never thought about until, like, recently, she is an animal most of the time. Now, if you've noticed, especially back then, a lot of, if the main character is black, most of the time they're either an animal or inanimate object. Tiana's one of them. She's a frog, and so is the prince most of the time. I can think of the new Pixar movie Soul. He is a soul, like, most of the time. He's not actually a person. So it's very rare for us to actually have a lead, especially in kids' movie, if they're anything but white, to actually be like themselves.
Or, like, Brave is set in, like, Ireland. Like, there's a minority there. So it's like, it makes sense. But, like, with Ariel, they don't talk about where she's from. You know,
she's
so it doesn't. Yeah, she can be anything she wants to be. So it's just like, it's silly. It's like, okay, you're like, we can't change, like, what she originally was, but, like, why does it matter?
And
like,
even then, people brought up the point of, like, how the original Ariel is a lot darker than the Disney Ariel. So it's like,
yeah. So it's like, it has no cultural reference. Like, it doesn't matter. Where in, like, other movies, it could potentially matter depending on where it's set. But the Ariel, she's free game. So
I wonder if more people would have been more upset if they made her look more like a fish than, like, half human, half fish. Will we still be having these problems?
Do the fish on top instead.
Exactly. Do y'all care what race she is?
Yeah.
That's not even an American thing. I think I saw a lot of global stuff too about that. And it was like, seriously?
But I've also seen so many little kids that, like, are black that are so excited to see this. Like, I've been
representation.
I've been seeing a lot of reactions of, like, parents showing their kids the trailer for it, and their eyes light up and they get so excited, and it's like, why would you take that away?
No.
Like, what's the big deal?
You know why, and I'm not going to say it.
Oh, I know why.
I know.
It's just, can't just let people live and be excited about a princess that doesn't actually exist.
They can't. And I know me and Brianna got into the thing with, like, representation and just TV shows in general, not even just fantasy. Like, I'm noticing more, especially now, how, like, it really is, like, it's really hard to find, like, good diversity that doesn't seem stereotypical, or, like, they just put a person of
like,
color
it's forced
in it
because people, like, are complaining.
Yes, and if they are, a lot of them, whether they're black or just a different person of color, they cast a lot of really light skinned, close to white people nowadays. So kind of, like, bearing that, which is sad.
Yeah. Question on a lighter note, I guess. My phone's about to die, so how many more questions do we have left?
3.
Okay, I should be okay.
Move on to the next question.
Huh?
You don't have a charger?
Well, I do, but, like, the outlet's far away, and then I would have to, like, mess with my setup, and I don't want to do that, so.
It's fine. And then Macy was right. Her past life. If you could live in a TV show, what would it be?
My answer's still the same. I'm pretty sure I said the Studio Ghibli universe.
I could leave.
And I would still choose that.
I would love to live in the Harry Potter world.
That's a cool one.
We all said Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh no, I changed it. I would like to do that. Actually, both. Oh.
Yeah.
And Macy
I
also
like all 3 of those.
Yeah. And Macy also did bring up the Studio Ghibli. And I said fairy tale, but also I want to live in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
All I remember about that question is saying, like, I think Brianna said Disney, and I'm like, I don't want my parents to die.
Yeah.
So I don't want to live in a Disney.
Because we started talking about places we don't want to live in, so.
Yeah.
Next question. If you could have any animal as a pet, what would it be?
Any animal?
Yes, whether it's a real animal or a fictional character, or, like, fictional animal.
I feel like I said, like, a baby panda. And
panda would be cute.
That would be adorable. Just a baby. I can't get bigger. I need to be able to carry it. So
I guess fish.
A fish.
Yeah. They're easy.
That's a funny.
They're easy
There's
to
a funny thing
maintain.
about that. Oh my god. So I said a flying.
This is an imaginary animal. You don't need to worry about the upkeep.
Oh, these are imaginary.
No, it could be real or
Oh.
imaginary.
It can't, yeah.
I'd still say fish. They're easy to maintain.
I feel
Okay.
like I got, since we asked these questions, I got my dream animal because I'd wanted a standard poodle for such a long time,
Oh,
and I have one now. So I
Ew.
feel like I got my actual animal. But if I could have an animal that I couldn't actually have, it would be a baby panda.
Okay.
A forever baby panda.
So I said flying bison, a red panda, or a wombat. And like I started following this page on TikTok now about red pandas, and I want one even more now.
Aw.
It just feeds it fruit, and it's so cute. Oh my god. Especially when they be eating oranges. They're so adorable. And like they only get a certain size, so like you can carry it around. So cute. Nafis brought up that you don't like creatures you can't communicate with, but you ended up saying a baby panda like Macy.
Fish cannot communicate at all.
yeah.
Because I asked about
They're
your fear
so-
of dogs, and you're like, well, I don't like communicating with animals that I can't, talk to. And I'm like, okay.
So all of
Or like
them.
understand them. Yeah, I struggle with
Yeah.
that. So yeah. Because you don't know if they're happy, sad,
Fish
mad.
Don't show any emotion.
Exactly. They just
I feel
swim.
like dogs are pretty easy to they get excited and they get sad and they have all the normal emotions, but fish do not.
Yeah.
For sure.
Brianna said a goat or a cheetah, and Macy said a forever baby panda. So your answer's
Yeah.
the same.
I'm on the same spot.
Yes, this one was the one where we started getting really deep at the end. So name a goal you want to accomplish before the end of your life. I think my answer's still the same no matter what.
So I'm pretty sure I said I wanted to fall in love.
You did.
And right now I'm in a moment of fuck your feelings, I don't want that. So
She said fuck love.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm in one of those moods currently
Aw.
where I do not want anything to do with a significant
Oh
other.
my god, Macy, I was not
I've been through that
expecting
phase
that from
too.
you.
Yeah.
So I have gone through this a couple of times where I like download a dating app, go on a date, hate my life, delete the app, and then move on.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I was literally, because I know they say it out of love, but like Precious and Tara, when we went to brunch, they're like, Simone, you need to get out there. You need a date. Like, we just wanted to make sure you're not cooped up and you're happy. And I'm like, yes, but I don't want to date anyone in my town. I'm terrified of online dating. I'm already awkward in person. I feel like I'd be awkward trying to do that first initial, like trying to get someone through text message and FaceTime. It's complicated. It's just complicated. And I'm not trying to wait for like Prince or Princess Charming or whatever. It's just like, and not even just like trying to figure myself out, which I feel like is important to know myself so I know what to accept and what not to accept from a partner. But it's just complicated right now. And I don't feel like I'm in a position to really love someone. I don't want to date someone just to get the experience of dating. I want to date someone because I do want that potential of like falling in love, which also can be scary. Because like the way I am with certain things, I'm like, I'm afraid of falling out of love. There's just so many factors.
I'm sure I'll want to do it eventually, but right now in this next year, I've decided to just focus on myself more. So, like, but that's just like a year goal. So as far as like something that I want to do before I die, I don't know. I don't know anymore. It's like, I think focusing, like finally getting to a point where I'm like happy, really happy with myself and love myself and possibly like independently like wealthy, like as far as
just stable,
having the own business. I would really like to have my own business by the time I'm 30, let alone before I die.
Yeah.
So
that's a good goal.
Yeah.
I wish I was ambitious like that.
Yeah, I think that is what I'm going to focus on, and hopefully I will achieve that. But for right now, fuck love. So I don't know. I'm sure my answer will be different next year. But for right now, I don't want to interact with any other human romantically.
Yeah.
I get that.
So
Nafis, what about you?
I think for now, I just want to be content with what I'm doing and then Yeah, just
to achieve contentment would be lovely.
That's literally what I said, because I said true happiness,
Yeah.
and then we got into the debate about contentment. So that's interesting. Now, like a year later, we all just really want to be content.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't have to be happy all the time, but
yeah, exactly.
content.
And I feel like that's
physically
impossible.
impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know if that makes me sound like a downer, but like I think that's humanly impossible.
Everybody has bad days.
Yes.
There's things out of your control that are going to happen regardless of what you do. So
Nafisa said make sure her family is set up and taken care of. We just talked about what Macy said. Brianna said get out. I'm not sure if she meant in like her city, but like she just wants to travel. And again, which I still feel like now, I just want to get to the point where I'm content with my life, what I'm doing, my job, all that good stuff.
I think that's a good goal for everybody to have, is to achieve contentment.
Yeah.
So
we're almost done, guys. This will be our last question, then we can just go ahead and wrap up. And I asked this like before we started to like do the closing, so I'm glad I listened to the end. I brought up, what would you do if you found out your favorite celebrity listened to this podcast?
crawl in a hole.
Hey, y'all.
I'd be like, hey, that's cool. Check out some other cool podcasts.
I feel like that's the same exact thing we said last time.
Brianna said she'd cry. Nafis says she'd ask why. Macy says she'd bury a hole and hide, but then she'd later be like, well, did you like it? I mean, thank you.
Right.
Why?
Feedback, please.
And I said, because we're funny people.
Yeah.
Right? How did you get to this point? Like, how far did you have to go in the internet to
How
find
did
us?
the algorithm work? How did the algorithm work? Right.
And Brianna's like, you stayed until the weird tangent part at the end. I'm like, y'all are... Thank you for having confidence in us.
Yeah.
And then we're like, Dive Studio needs to pick us up. But hey.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
We
could put it out in the universe.
We could.
You never know what happens, especially in a year from now.
Manifest what you wish to happen.
Manifest.
Just say it.
So, yeah, we'll see. And who knows? Maybe we do have, someone slightly famous. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, my phone's on 3%.
Yeah, we're fine. So we're going to go ahead and go, because Nafis is on a time crunch. Her thing is dying. But thank you again. I'm so happy I was able to celebrate the 2-year anniversary. Let's hopefully make it to 3. More to come, guys. Macy, you want to do the closing? Because I'm tired of talking. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening to us. Honestly, we couldn't do this show without you guys. So I'm sure everyone else feels the same.
Thank you so much for listening. Gosh, I hate doing this. You can listen to us anywhere on any podcast platform that you're listening to. Please give us some ratings. We'd love to know how we're doing. You can write us. If you have any topics or suggestions, you can write us at iwasthinkingpod@gmail.com. We do have an Instagram. And Twitter. You can follow us on there at iwasthinkingpod. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
For this 2 years.
Bye.
Bye.